Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 8:48 a.m. Eastern Time on Groundhog Day, February 2nd, 2021. So, looking at really where we're at, so we talked about above or below this base, basically, uh, for lack of better terms, that's called around 36.75, and then you can have one distribution point, right? That's between these two high volume nodes, right? You got the high volume node here, you got the high volume node here. That's where we played yesterday, right? And then you've got this point up here. If you look at the futures right now, they're about 3,800. So 3801.75 is that untested point of control that's really from Thursday the 28th, right? So what does that lead to? That leads to basically this distribution that's above there to the all-time high as a scenario. So right now, what the market is doing pre-market, in my opinion, is it is trying to figure out which side of this high volume node that it really wants to be on, right? So we can take this off the table for now, right? Losing that high volume node right around that 36.75 area, right? That could have let the market free fall basically over a couple sessions all the way down to 3,400, right? So that's taken off the table for now. So we'll see where we get in, but I think the battle right now is, do we stay between 3,700 and 3,800 basically, or do we get above 3,800 and go back towards the all-time high? So that's where we are right now. And if we look at the market where we've been the last while, all we did was come back down and retest that same point basically that we retested right at the beginning of January, on January 4th, right? So we come back and tested that low from January 4th. We've stuck it. So that's basically a double bottom for the year that we're looking at right now. Where the market sold from last, right? We have a couple of times that the market has sold from. You can look at this resistance right around this 38.05 level. You can look a little bit better. There's a clear line in the sand where we've had resistance right around 38.17, and then previous support at that area. We've also sold again right around 38.23. So let's see where that congestion lies. And the last time the market really fell out of bed, right, it started from 38.40 is where it hit from. So looking at all the indices, yesterday we had some split distributions, right? So 130-minute bar was the only time frame that traded for the day, right? I marked those off with these green boxes on my profile, right? Just let me see where the distribution splits were. If you look at the overnight low, right? The overnight low is above that distribution. The top distribution it's still in for the NASDAQ, the ES. And if we look at it for the Russell, right? The Russell's overnight low, right, got in there at that basically 21.1380 is the overnight low for the Russell. So it barely dipped in there. Looking at the NASDAQ and really, where I think it's going to be headed up over the course of the week or maybe early next week, right, this is where we had some trades go off when Apple reported and others excuse me, last week. So that's going to be 13,533 to basically 13,600 is where this marker is. And this is where we had over exuberance, right? And the NASDAQ dropped from there in the past. So what I titled the video was, right, for the day, right, overnight OVN VA value area acceptance or rejection, right? So we've had all of our time and energy spent overnight basically above where we had value from yesterday, right? So we're going to have for the equity member profiles, and since I'm sharing my thoughts in Jack's room, I'll be sharing with the traders in there as well. But what I'll be watching this morning is I'll be developing the value area right when the bell rings for the session, right? And we'll be comparing it. So this value area is going to be on top of or above of the one from yesterday. So as I watch for acceptance or rejection of that value area, and it's quite possible, to be honest with you, that we could sit there and run a large portion of the day inside that value area and not even do it. So you always have to think about, a gap fill is on the table any trading day, right? So a gap fill for the ES is down at 37.65. For the NASDAQ, it's down at 13,236. For the Russell, it's sitting down right around that 21,019, or I'm sorry, 2,119. And then as we look at the Dow, that is all the way down at 30,110. So I would say you almost have to assume that today is going to be at least a gap and hold until lunchtime, right? And then the market will decide after that, right, if it wants to stay up here any longer or not. But I would look for shallow pullbacks for the most part before the Euro traders leave, and then we'll see what happens over the lunchtime break, right? And we'll come back at around 1:45, 2 o'clock, and we'll analyze to see if we think we could get a further drop, right, or continue pushing higher going into the close. I hope this helps, and I will talk to the most of you, I guess, right around 9:40 when I rejoin. Have a great day, and I'll see some of you in a little while.